53% possession, 24 shots, 6 on target, an XG of 2.80, 375 passes, and 111.2 distance covered. All of these statistics reflect complete domination. Yet, following Arsenal's 2-1 victory against Brighton, their manager came out and said this. So you know what that tells me? Arsenal don't kill teams. We are not killing teams. And that's a massive problem that we need to eradicate if we want to win the Premier League trophy. Every Arsenal fan, every football fan knows the margin should have been higher and a lot larger. I think we've now seen that against Brighton, against Wolves, and obviously Crystal Palace in the League Cup, and probably a couple of games. This is something that has to be eradicated between Mikel Arteta and his tactics. Mainly, I feel in the last few games, the players need to find their shooting boots and be ruthless. You need to kill games before they kill you. And Lord knows, we've seen that before. I have to thank the Lord for own goals. Because if it wasn't for own goals in December, I don't know where we'd be. In incredible numbers, people. It's been over 300 minutes since an Arsenal player actually scored a non-penalty goal since the hour mark in our 3-0 victory against Club Brugge. We've relied on 3 own goals, 2 against Wolves and 1 from Crystal Palace. And we can't forget a Victor Gyökeres penalty against Everton. Granted, we needed own goals to make the difference. And also big up Martin Odegaard as well, because if he didn't score against Brighton, that 300 would have looked a lot more madder. Again, I think in the last few games, it's been on the players. I think Wolves, Brighton, Everton to a slight degree, and Crystal Palace, the players have needed to put the ball in the back of the net. And for some reason or not, it hasn't quite happened. Now, people are going to be disingenuous. Own goals and penalties in isolation are nothing to be ashamed of. Neither are dead balls and set pieces. They're a sign of creating chaos among the opposition's defense. It forces mistakes. And if you're generating these opportunities, you've obviously got into the opponent's box to force the issue. And you look at the data, people, an Arsenal player should have scored at least 6 times in our last 3 games, yet we only managed 1. So maybe it's a case of a couple bits and pieces on the training ground and we might get over the line, but it's something that needs to be eradicated. And actually, history has a strange way of repeating itself. I mean, it's not the first time this has happened to Arsenal over the festive period. Cast your mind back to December 2023 when we suffered back-to-back league losses around Christmas to Fulham and West Ham, and we exited the FA Cup despite dominating Liverpool with chance after chance. 12 months ago, Arsenal had back-to-back draws with both Fulham and Everton in December. Our 1-0 win over Ipswich straight after Christmas was far from convincing in an attacking sense. And we all remember shortly after that, we exited the League Cup semi-final, people, after dominating arguably in the first leg, especially against Newcastle. So it seems there's a bit of a trend there. It looked like it would have continued against Palace on Tuesday. We had 25 shots against them without finding a net ourselves. Now, obviously, we won on penalties, so happy days. We all need to remember we drew 14 times in the Premier League last season. And again, we thank the Lord that this ain't the reality, but there is a logic with us not scoring 2 goals, the same game kind of panning out, Brighton obviously making it 1-1, still believing we should have won the game, and us not obviously winning it, people. Let's not be dumb. Clearly, we recognize the need to get a second goal quickly, and we do have that knack in us in recent weeks, people. We've actually gone 2-0 up inside the first minute of the second half on 3 separate occasions, which shows how serious it's getting at half time. But especially with that Brighton game, if that happens again, can we kill sides there and then? At worst, we should be crying about no clean sheet, and obviously David Raya having to make that great save. At some point, this isn't we're not gonna get away with it if this kind of makes sense, people. It does feel in a sense that I won't quite say old habits, but it does feel like we're getting into old habits, people, if I'm completely honest. We have conceded a lot of late goals, which shows there's improvements to be made in both boxes. The fact we're still winning games despite late goals conceded is also testament to how well we're prepared for this season in terms of squad management, game management, and the overall mentality of this football club. But what we need to do at this moment in time is be a lot more ruthless in front of goal if we're to finish the job. We cannot have a dry January. Some of you might in terms of alcohol after a hectic December. A quick word on Victor Gyökeres. I want to stress this is not just about Gyökeres. This is the broader need of us having to convert our chances. But I do think there's many layers to this. I feel maybe not so much in recent weeks, but there's something Mikel Arteta can do in terms of an attacking sense. It does feel like we're trying to win games too much on percentages. in the last few games, so from Wolves up until this point, on the eve of playing Aston Villa, I think we have got into goal scoring situations where a number of our players, simply put, have not put the ball in the back of the net. And you could actually say that was the case against Wolves. You know what? There was a great sweeping move against Everton where Trossard hit the post, and it just made me feel, come on, boys, like we need to do a bit better in that regard. As I said, quickly on Gyökeres. For Gyökeres, I think you have to control what you can control. I think Gary Lineker said it best, really. You'll see on screen at this moment, but simply put, there's a lot of luxuries I've given Gyökeres, but you're not gambling enough. You're not anticipating enough. For whatever reason, you're not getting into those areas. You're not arriving into the box. I do want to see you force the issue, be a bit more demanding, and overall a bit more savage with your teammates, people. You know, I make Thierry Henry right about decision making of Gyökeres if you go back to the Champions League Bilbao away, but that's neither here nor there, people. There's something for Arteta to address. Odegaard's a quality player. Saka's a quality player. Eze is a quality player. Gyökeres is a limited player with a lot more to give, and this can flow throughout the whole side. So it's a deeper problem than just the players, but isolated to the controllables, Gyökeres isn't necessarily controlling them. And I must admit, I did think there'd be more of a predator instinct, if that makes sense, people, of someone that's got 90 odd goals for Sporting Lisbon and all of those kind of things. I thought there'd be a bit more speed of thought there. Of course, he's adapting, but I can only talk about what we're in front of, people. I mean, 5 goals in 15 appearances, granted, isn't the best of returns, people, and isn't what we wanted. 2 of those goals did come from the penalty spot. 4 came against Leeds United, Nottingham Forest, and Burnley, people. Get the goals however you can. I'm not really interested in that. And again, he's not alone, people. But it's something for Arteta to look at. And again, it's deeper than just Gyökeres, because at the end of the day, Gyökeres is still our top goal scorer in the Premier League, which again, it takes me back to Kai Havertz, where there was a lot of conflicting opinions on Kai Havertz. And I wouldn't describe Kai Havertz as necessarily clinical, people, but excluding Bukayo Saka, he's been the one chipping in with goals. So there might be something to look at in terms of recruitment, players converting chances, Mikel Arteta's tactics, a bit of everything, people. But staying on task, people, you know, the reality is we're going against a machine. Gyökeres, as I said, is not alone. Looking at City, they've got a player in Erling Haaland who has 19 goals. Semenyo of Bournemouth is on 9 goals, and he's soon to actually be of Manchester City. Morgan Rogers is of 7. Now compare that to us in the league, people. Thank God for own goal. Simply put, need to fix the roof while the sun is shining. Side note, if we are to be positive about it, we should be, because Arsenal have earned some benefit of the doubt. If we can keep finding a way to win, be it through set pieces, grinding out results, dead balls, who cares, people, or creation of chances that have led to own goals, great stuff. But we do need our players to get on the scoring boots, people. I actually think the first 45 minutes against Brighton was some of the best football I've seen in recent weeks from my club. But there was still too much optimism, hope, and belief for Bournemouth at half time. And we've seen this story. We've seen it with us where teams haven't killed us. We've gone and turned the result over. So we need to chase that illusion of perfection, people. We've got City breathing fire down our necks. We're overdue probably one of those message sending performances. So winning a 5-0 and stuff that gets our fans giddy. But as I said, it's deeper than just whatever you think about Gyökeres or the current landscape. Arsenal's current goal scoring output in the 2025-26 season currently sits at 33 goals through 18 matches. On average, that's 1.83 per game, which is solid, but not really a dominant figure for a team top of the table and chasing the title. While Gyökeres has indeed underperformed with just 5 goals for many, and arguably a league worst non-penalty goals and assist rate among Arsenal players in their first 1,000 Premier League minutes, the issues clearly run deeper than just one player. You know, there's many reasons. You could say our finishing roles, the variance in that regard. Generally, as a team, we're lacking killer instinct. Injuries have disrupted our attack. And also, people, Arsenal have had 180 shots and 90 on target through 18 games, which shows we're generating volume. But our conversion, people, which is, you know, stands at just 18.3% for shots on target to goals, which lags behind City's attack and even Liverpool per seasonal trends. But then you even look at shots. You have to make your own kind of stuff, right? You know, I don't even know the words. You have to make your own luck, if I'm honest with you. Look at the goals, people. You know, all you need to do is look at the goals. Haaland's on 19. Igor Thiago is on 11. Semenyo is on 9. Ikitike is on 8. And you can see the rest. Then go and look at our players. Of course, there are some factors. People haven't been fit, the game state, all of that kind of stuff, people. Gyökeres is our top goal scorer for the good, the bad, the ugly of him with 5 goals. Eze has 4. 3 came in the game. Bakayo's got 4. Trossard, who I think is our best attacker, has 4. And then you look at Merino, who's got 3. Zubamendi's got 2, as does Declan Rice and Timber. So clearly, the manager and the players, we need a bit more. Then when you even look at shots, people, in the Premier League, Haaland, I mean, it's ridiculous that man's got 19 goals and you're going to get way more than 30 in it, if I'm honest with you. But he's had 62 shots. Mateta has had 43. Semenyo has had 38. Now, again, you could look at the minutes these guys played and injuries and stuff to find some context. But compare that to us. Saka has had 27 shots, which some fans are getting angry about Saka being greedy. Gyökeres has had 22 shots, which, again, there's more to come, people. I don't think he's shooting enough in games, but there's more to come. Declan Rice has had 18 shots. Trossard has had 18 shots. Jurriën Timber has had 17 shots. Calafiori's had 15. And when you actually look at Calafiori and Timber, compared to a lot of our more attacking players, they've been in the opposition box a lot more than them. So again, there is a bit of warning signs that are being displayed, folks, people. In my opinion, if we don't control these injuries, defend a lot better, avoid conceding last-minute goals, and kill teams when the game state suggests, and ultimately start scoring more, we are going to sell ourselves short this season. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we put a statement out against Aston Villa. I don't think it's all doom and gloom, people, but there are warning signs that we need to improve. Take the good and make it great. Take the evident areas of improvement and improve them. We're a good team with a good manager. We've shown we can hang with anyone tactically. We pulled off many a decent night and a decent result in Europe and the Prem. Being a good team's not enough, as you know. Great teams win. We have been good. Good hasn't been enough. Good hasn't got us over the line. Now, the challenge for Arsenal is to be a great team, and it starts against Aston Villa.